Welcome back to Honor. I think this is episode 22. Um, so auspicious day, I guess. I don't know. It's been a couple weeks since we recorded because it's been quite busy. But I mean, I guess you're not done yet. But the reason why is because we're at the end of the year. We're about to graduate, which is pretty crazy.
Which is crazy, really. Yeah, I mean,
Which
we're
is
1 week
crazy.
apart, so Nico's on the good end of things. He's submitted all his things. I'm on the bad end of things. I have
You're
1
on the
week
bad
until I
end of
submit
things.
all my things.
Oh god.
And then we're out of here, which is
Now we're out of here.
pretty insane.
Wait, I was thinking about this the other day. Like, high school graduation feels so like it feels like it was recent. At least to me. I don't know.
You think so? Yeah. Yeah, I go
some
back and
ways.
forth. I really go back and forth on a lot of these things, like whether things feel recent or whether they feel distant. And it's so hard to say. Like, some aspects of high school graduation feel so close and some feel so far.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to explain. But I do think, like, college has been so fast, like, just generally. I just think it's been, like, so exceedingly fast feeling, like, when you look back on it. Like, the fact that,
Yeah.
you know, I still distinctly remember being in my junior year, taking a visit here, and, like, looking at all the old seniors and being like, wow, like, they look so, like, adult and old. And I have, like, that memory's, like, burned into my brain. And now
Right.
imagining that I am that person is, like, astounding. It makes no sense.
Yeah. Wait, the worst is like in like clubs or like groups that you're a part of on campus and the first year's coming in. You remember being them as a first year and you know, I still feel so similar to that. But when I was a first year, I viewed the fourth years as like ancient and like, you know, on their way out. And,
No, exactly,
you know,
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
I live it every day with the team, you know what I mean? Because we get new crop
Right,
every
right.
year. And so it's like, you just think about how you felt when, like, I just remember the people that I, like, thought of as so old when I showed up. And considering that I'm now that person is, like, so incomprehensible to me. Like, I feel so close to them, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
feel, like, so similar to these, like, young people in so many ways. Like, you know, maybe I feel a little older than them, but in general, I don't feel this, like, massive distinction, like, as if I'm so much older and, like, more, like, whatever. I don't know. So, like, that part of it just feels so weird that I probably am viewed that way.
No, for sure. Like we are, like straight up.
Right.
That's rough. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'm much closer to like grad than you are. I mean, you're not far from grad for sure, but you do have like the grind still to come. I will say like, and maybe we can revisit this when you're done. Also, turning in like my last paper and finishing my last exam, strange feelings. Good feelings in a lot of ways, because this past year especially, I've been done with school. I mean, I don't know. And maybe it's a little different for you because you have, like, there's this, like, probably gonna go to school next year as well, but, you know, it's gonna be very different from undergrad, especially, you know?
Right. 100%.
And your experience right now. Like, it's gonna be very different. I would also say it's pretty, anticlimactic, especially compared, I mean, high school is also anticlimactic. I forget.
Yeah, but I feel like in high school you
last
have the
day of
benefit of like you're in like a class.
But there's like an end of the day, right?
Yeah. You're in a class. There's an end of the day that everyone shares. So it's like when it's your last day and it's the end of the day, everyone's sharing that experience at the exact same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, we're all like the bell just rang and we're all getting let out for the last time. But in college, it feels so much more individual. Like everyone's just kind of doing their own thing, like whatever, and then like afterwards, like everyone just comes back together for the ceremony. Like it doesn't feel quite the same. Also, for me, I do feel like mine is a little different because historically I've been in all these like engineering classes that are PSETs. And then this quarter I'm in like photography and I'm in, you know, my senior project, and I'm in, which I guess my senior project, the final day is like really close to grad actually. Like I turn in most of my things, but my actual senior project presentation is on June 10th.
Oh wow.
Which is super late. It's like the last day of finals here. But yeah, I turn in a project with a video for one of my classes, and then I have senior projects, and then I have photography. So it's like, I don't have the traditional like last essay, last PSET type of thing. Like it's going to be like a soft, like I stopped contributing to the project type of thing because it's like wrapping up, and then the other project I just turn in, but it's like the project that I'm honestly not all that attached to. And like, yeah, I don't know. So I feel like I have, and then I also have a soft exit because I'm going to be living here this summer. So
right.
For all of those reasons, I feel like, at least so far, I haven't felt this like huge feeling of like it's ending, like sort of, but not like, not the same as high school in some ways, like just because it's like much like softer and like spread out.
I don't know. I mean, I do think there's a lot to be said though about the social aspect in college. Like there's almost like, oh, there's nothing in common with the people I have here. At least everyone at home, we have the same hometown, and maybe our parents are probably like gonna live here for however many years later, so maybe we'll run into each other. But there are some people at college who I know relatively well who I probably
genuinely you'll never see again.
Genuinely, like they will be completely just.
I've had that thought. It is really weird because I do think like, you know, your closest friends, you'll definitely, like from college, you'll definitely still see, like whether it's just like randomly you happen to be in the same area, one of you's visiting the city that the other one lives in, like, I don't know, weddings, that sort of thing. But I think that like second tier, although I guess in many ways it's kind of similar to like high school, like I still see my like best high school friends, like like, you know, like organized to see each other on vacation, or like when we come home, hang out or something. But like even like my like second like my non like closest group, the like second group, I don't really see those people ever. You know what I mean? Anymore.
Yeah.
Which I think is going to be like somewhat similar with college. I mean, like your like closest group of friends you'll see. In college, honestly, I don't know. In college, I feel like maybe you'll see them more often just because it's like this is the direct transition into like adulthood. So where it's like you have a more like close, like in adulthood, I feel like there's more like random crossover because like I said, like you're just like in the city someone else lives in or like whatever. And like if it was like you were just friends with them 2 years ago, then maybe you like go visit them. But with like the high school to college transition, you're like high school friends who you're pretty good friends with, but you don't see anymore. Like if you don't see them when you go home, you're probably never seeing them because it's like, that was your only connection. And now if you're not seeing them anymore, then like it's a little harder to like be like, oh, I'm in your city like 6 years down the line. I mean, you could, but
I don't know about you, but the college experience is so strange when I look back on it, especially socially. I'm not like the worst at making friends, but I feel like developing friendships over 4 years was such a shorter time period than I was ever used to, and like, you know, at home, to where we had however many years to know everyone. There's just something about like, oh, I've known you since we were 7, and maybe we haven't seen each other since high school ended, but I've still known you for so long, way longer.
That's
also
fair.
Like, spent probably more time with you than maybe my second, third tier college friends.
I feel like my experience in college, I mean, I'm a little different because I'm on the team, and like the team is like, you know, it's such a dominant friend group, like almost by force, because it's like you have to be at practice like 20 hours a week. And so like you're hanging out with those people 20 hours a week, like no matter what. And so like that, like you can't hang out with another friend group 20 hours a week. Like otherwise you'd be doing 40 hours of friend time every week, and that's not feasible. So it's like by necessity, it's your dominant friend group, which is like an interesting thing. Because, you know, my freshman year, I was in a freshman dorm, and I was in like one of the most social freshman dorms at Stanford. So like I knew a ton of people, and I had like a pretty decently sized friend group in my dorm. And then I roomed with some of those people my sophomore year to like, because I knew it was going to be harder to maintain those friendships, just because like I don't have something that's forcing me to hang out with them, and I'm busy and whatever.
Right.
And so now like I have like a few of those people. Like honestly, out of my like main friend group from my freshman year that was not my team, there's like one person that I like still like make an effort to see super consistently. And then the rest of them I see like periodically, and like maybe we'll do a group thing every once in a while, but like by while I mean like, I don't know, once or twice a year. And so like I see them very, very infrequently. And so it's mostly just like my team these days, and then like, you know, a few adjacent people. Which like I feel like I like made an effort for that not to be the case early in my experience, but it's just really hard because like life happens, you're very busy, and when you're not in a setting where it's easy to see those people, like you can't just walk down the hallway and like knock on their door. You have to bike across campus, and they also have friends that they're hanging out with anyways. So like you have to set it up, bike across campus, do it. Like it's just his like input, and everyone's busy, so it's hard to coordinate. And like, so it is hard, I find, to like fully maintain those things. And so like, yeah, I feel like I've slowly just had the team be my main connections here, which is like, you know, the team's pretty big. It's like, you know, always 16 people. So during my time here, 32 people or so, which is a lot. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like that has been an interesting thing. And I agree with you. Like those people who I was pretty close with my freshman year, it's like, yeah, you know, now I knew them very well and I was very good friends with them. Anyone that I see, I would like stop and talk to for a few minutes. You just don't know them the same as like you said, even one of those friends from home that like maybe you don't talk to as much anymore, but you knew them for 10 years.
And that's why I think it's so cooked post-grad.
Well, post-grad's also it's a different transition, because when you're transitioning high school to college, you're just transitioning to a new social setting with a bunch of people your age. But when you're transitioning to like an entirely different like style of life, where you're not in a social setting most of the time. Like maybe you're at work, but your work might be a bunch of people who are way older than you or whatever. And then you likely go home to your own apartment. Like maybe you share with a friend, but maybe you share it with your girlfriend or something. And then your group just shrinks massively. Like almost by necessity. Like it's very difficult to maintain a large group, it seems, post-grad. Unless you're like, maybe for me, like if I lived in San Francisco, that would be like the biggest hotspot, obviously. And for you, Chicago, like if you just like stay in your local city and make an effort to talk to people. That's kind of why
it's attractive, yeah.
But yeah, it's tricky. I mean, if you move to a city that's not your local city, like maybe you know like one or two people from your school that like moved there with you.
Unless you go to New York.
Yeah, New York, then you'll know. New York, then you'll know. But New York's big. Like it's not like you're just gonna like coincidentally run into them like you would on campus. You know what I mean?
Or people who don't make it to New York their first year out of college, like, oh my god, I need to go to New York. That's where my friends are.
Right.
I don't have any friends here, you know.
No, literally. No,
literally, it's
I
like
get it, 'cause it's like
all my college friends. Yeah,
I get it, because it's like you said, like college is a social setting where like by nature you make friends because you have time to spend and you want to spend it with friends. Like that makes sense. But the real world is like everyone's got their own little group that they're living with, basically. And then other than that, you have work and you go home to your house and maybe you go to the gym or you go run or whatever. And maybe you go out on the weekends or
just-
something, but
It's busy, bro.
it's busy. It's not the same as college. So it's like all of those connections, you can't maintain them all, you know what I mean? And it's like, even if you were trying to call a friend like once every week, if you had 7 friends, that would exhaust, you call them once a week for an hour. It's like, you can't really do 2 hours every day, surely. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. I think that is pretty crazy to consider. Like, it's just it is a weird transition socially, I think.
I mean, I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss a lot of things about it. There's a lot of things I'm not gonna miss about it, though. But
yeah,
I mean, even the things I'm not gonna miss, like staying up all night to write a paper, for example. It's terrible. It's so bad. I did it twice over the past 3 days. It's cooked, and you feel terrible when you feel, and you, I don't know if the papers turned out well. It never feels like you're doing your best work, but something about that moment when you finish, it's, I don't know. I don't think there's equivalent things that are gonna be like that.
At Stanford, what people chase is the startup world, because I think the distinction there is it's something that it's something that's innately yours. So it's I'm staying up all night to finish my paper, right? And so I think if you're in the startup world, because you have that sense of belonging, you can still achieve that. I'm going to work all night on my product to try and get my product out. And that in many ways feels more similar to me to school than the corporate world feels very disconnected, where it's you have so much less ownership in what you're doing that it's kind of it doesn't feel the same, where I'm going to stay up all night to try and finish my thing. It's I'm just going to clock out and go home and do my nighttime routine, and then I'll just clock back in and we'll be there tomorrow for the most part. You know what I mean? Maybe you have a time crunch sort of assignment or something, depending on what line of work you're in. But you do kind of let go of that ownership in what you're doing a little bit, which is for sure different and maybe not desirable. I think it goes both. I iterate on this a lot, how I feel about this, because there are so many things that I think overall I do like the student design. Maybe. I think what I like is, particularly because my interests are exercise related, a lot of them.
Yeah.
I think the student lifestyle is much more feasible for that. Maybe conducive to that. I should say both are feasible, but it's as a student, I can do my homework at 10 p.m. to midnight, and I can run at 12 to noon or noon to 2 or something. And that's a trade-off I'm allowed to make with no one, no oversight. And that makes sense, right? It's the middle of the day. I want to go for a run, and I can do homework at nighttime. That's super reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
But in the work world, it's okay, I'm at my office from noon to 2, and I can exercise after I get out, but I have dinner and I have all these things. And so the inability to shift things around and have a flexible schedule, I think makes particularly my interest a little bit tricky to do in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a little unfortunate. So for that reason, I do like the student design. But what is tough about the student design and good about the world, the work culture, I guess, is for the most part, when you're done at work, you can just clock out. And when I was working over the summer, I would go clock out, and sometimes I wouldn't even bring my laptop where I was going on vacation. You know what I mean? I would just go somewhere for the weekend, and that's that. But here, it's I don't get to clock out at the end of every day. There's assignments that are due in the next couple of days. There's stuff I go back to my dorm and I do homework from oftentimes until late into the night. Which that I think that looming over you is the negative part of college, or just work, school culture. So I don't know which one I prefer. I the clocking out and being done does seem very desirable, but the flexibility for me personally, I think maybe is easier. It feels like we need another chunk, you know what I mean? I feel life is chunked into these two growing older, education thing. Like education has been my life ever since I was so small, and like
Yeah.
like, you know, like your objective to like get good grades or whatever, like, you know, get into the next stage of school successfully, like get into a good college or whatever, and then like it all shifts, and it just feels like the second block is like really long, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like 22, like the next block is like until I die, whereas like the first block is like 0 to 22. Like what, maybe we have like a 20 to 50 block or something in there. I guess you have like the retirement block.
Dude, but
Retirement's also getting so tricky because people are living really long, so it's like back in the day when everyone died at 80.
What do you think of
like,
that early retirement thing? What do you think about this early retirement thing?
like grinding to like the objective?
Yeah. Because
I don't
it's
know.
relatively popular, especially for software engineers, I think.
Yeah, it is. Two things. Like one, it is popular amongst like the tech world historically, but I think that tech is changing a lot, like right now.
Yeah.
Like there's this like historically there was like this sense that like you were a founding engineer at a company, right? And you like make your way up through the ranks, and then you're a senior engineer, and like you're just important in the fact that like you were foundational in how a lot of that code was written, and sometimes like you might be the only person that really understands the flow of the code base or something like that. So like you're kind of integral to the team because they need you to ask questions and give direction. But you're like, because of that, you have so much leverage that you kind of like take your foot off the gas and relax a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's like so changed now because it's like now they can just ask Claude to like check through the code base. You know what I mean? Like that like leverage was lost in large part. Like somewhat. Yeah. I mean, it still exists a little bit, but I just don't think that going forward that's going to be the same. I don't think tech's going to be the same going forward. That like golden age of being able to like I think that tech was kind of this bubble where it was like because it was so new, like if you got in early, you're like the GOAT. But now that it's becoming a saturated industry and like there's so many people who like were vying for that lifestyle, like it low-key just isn't a thing anymore. And you can still like, because I don't know, I mean, even like software engineer aside, like even say you're like a quant or something, right? You can go right out of college making like $500K and you can do that for a while, but it's like how early retirement does it even, depending on your lifestyle, like I don't know. It just feels like, I don't know, if you're really smart with your money, you could probably retire being a quant at like, I don't know, in your 40s, maybe? But it's like, like I guess, but like then what do you do? Like now you're 40, now you're 45.
That's my issue. What am I doing?
Like you're 45, like it's not the same anymore. Like you probably have if you don't have I guess like if you don't have a family, then I guess you could like go travel or something. But it's like you're 45, like the vibe's not really the same. Like it's not like you're not just like young traveling around, like staying at hostels, like doing whatever. Like you're 45 years old, bro. And like I just feel like your like life priorities at that point have shifted a little bit. At least in my shoes, it
you're
feels
gonna
like
have more health issues.
More health issues, more like life's just a bit more real then. Like to me, it doesn't feel like the optimal route. To me, it just feels like you're like working for this thing that then you get there, and it's like I don't know. Like if you have a family, I think it would be great if you had a family. I think it would be like chill for like the years that all of your family's at home. Maybe like especially if you have young kids. I think that would be like totally fine. Like young kids who are at home all day type of thing. Yeah. Like 3 years old. Because then it's like you like take care of your kids. But like maybe that's fine. But then once your kids start going to school, it's like your kids are gone like 8 hours a day. Like presumably like maybe your wife is at home. But like what do you two do together for 9 hours every day? Like you have to like I don't know. Yeah, I feel like you would feel just like a little bit lost and like objectiveless at that point. Very bored. And it's like at that point, if you do have a family, you're not probably doing the travel option. I mean, maybe you are. I think I see people. No, I guess not if you have kids though. That's the caveat there.
Yeah.
What I do
Yeah,
see
yeah.
is what I see here in the Bay is families who, once their kids go to college, then they start incessantly traveling.
Yes, I know. Yes, yes.
Like
yes.
that's an archetype here for sure. Like their kids leave
sure.
the house finally, they go to college, and then the parents are like genuinely, they're like somewhat involved with work, but like not really anymore. And so they just like travel the world and will just be gone like 4 months at a time. Like, and like honestly, like I'm cool with that. I think that's like a pretty like, I could see my, like, you know, obviously like that's like a hard thing to achieve. Like it's not like I would take that. But like I think I could, like, if I was in those, I don't think I would be like insanely bored doing that. Like if I was like traveling a bunch
Right.
with my wife and my kids are in college, you like, you know, you talk to your kids on the phone, you travel to new places, you maybe do like, a lot of those people do like through hiking trails and stuff. Like I would do that. Like
Right.
that seems like,
But you're not 40 in that case. You're not 40.
you're not 40. You're like
Yeah.
I mean, actually,
Yeah.
you could be like 50. You could be like 50 at the youngest.
You can be 50. You can be 50.
Yeah. You could be like 50 at the youngest, but you're like somewhere from 50 to 60 probably in that range.
Likely. Most likely.
Which at that point it's like not even that. I mean, it's still. I mean, if you retire at 50, that's still very early. So like, I think that world, like if your kids are in college when you're in their 50s, and you have enough money to retire early, and you can travel with your wife, then I think that's like a good objective. You can have that objective, and that's like something that is like valuable to look forward to. But retiring any earlier than that with kids in high school or something, I don't know what you're doing. And if you're like if you're on your own solo, like maybe you travel, but if you're just I think on a solo travel in your 40s, I think couple travel when you're older seems more reasonable than solo travel when you're older. Solo travel seems more like a young person thing to me.
I mean, you can still do it.
Yeah, it just seems like
And
for
people
me
do it.
in my life, my objective, like right now, I can like go
You just
to a
mean like
hostel
the things
alone.
that you want to do on solo travel.
Yeah, exactly. It's like right now I can go to a hostel alone and like not think about it. Like I'm not worried about like the fact that I'm sleeping in a room with like 10 other people and like whatever. I just like get up, talk to people, go do things. Like that's like totally fine, right? But if I'm 40, I don't know if I see myself wanting to be in that setting. You're also like, because you're vast majority around young people, like the main demographic isn't going to change. So it's like you're going to be a 40-year-old sleeping in a dorm room with a bunch of 20-year-olds, which is a little weird. And then if you're with your significant other, you're definitely not doing that. But like that solves the problem, you know what I mean? Because then it's like you have to significant other, then you just stay in your own room together, and that's like a different vibe. But like the solo travel, I feel like is like, if we're then comparing solo travel is like made more enjoyable in many ways. Like the hostel is in many ways better than like going and staying in your own room where you don't meet anyone, because then it's like whatever, you miss out on the social experience. But then the social experience is weird if you're 40. So it just feels like to me, solo travel feels like a young person thing. Couple travel can be either, but like if I was gonna retire early, like that's what I would do. But I don't think that retiring early is like a huge like, because it's so like convoluted and tricky and like maybe not even desirable in the first place. I don't think that it's something that you should like super grind for. Like I think some people like spend their 20s and 30s and even 40s then grinding to retire at 50, and it's like, okay, what about those 30 years that you could have done different fun things? Like to me, that doesn't seem
it's not even
worth
the
it.
grinding. It's, or I guess it's like what's implicit in the grinding is, maybe I'm not hanging out, going out, eating dinner with my friends or something, like every night, or not every night, but
right.
It's just you're gonna take the standpoint of, I need to spend as little money as possible right now and invest all of my savings so that I can get to the point to where I'm like financially stable, even in like my 30s, 40s. But that just seems miserable. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It seems like that should be the stacking time, at least to me. I don't know.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think
I would rather spend all my money in my 20s than any other time.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that like the tricky thing is family, like saving money for your family. But I also think that you do have to make the most of when you're young. Like you shouldn't, like being exceedingly frugal when you're young is like, I don't think ever the meta. Like it's like cliche, but it's like you only live once, and like there are so many things that like are just because of the way life works. Like once again, like unfortunately, I kind of wish we had like 5 eras, like, but we don't. You have like 3. You have like young, and then you have like working age, and then you have retired. So like make the most of your first block, because like the next one's different, man. Like I mean, I guess like young can kind of go beyond schooling. Like I think young can encapsulate your 20s, for the most part, at least. Yeah, for most of your 20s. And so it's like, let's count that as your first block and like make the most of it, man. Because like things are going to change after that. And I think that you're going to view a lot of things different. And if you look back and you were just like so frugal in your young time, when it's like, you know, maybe it just makes more sense to be frugal. Like, again, it kind of makes more sense to be frugal when you're 35 and like you're not staying and traveling in hostels and whatever. Like you can be frugal then when that's not your objective anymore, to like go do cool things. But like,
yeah, I guess I've been thinking about that now. As like, you know, now that we're at the end of that first era, it's, did I do a good job? I mean, you know, I'd say within your first era, it's not entirely up to you how it goes, especially those earlier years.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have less. It's your era with your least amount of freedom. It's sort of, but, kind of.
It's kind of. I mean,
it's kind of tricky. In some ways, it has your most freedom. In some ways, it has your least amount of freedom.
Yeah. And so I've just been trying to think. I mean, I don't know. There's not much I regret not doing or regret doing.
Yeah.
How would it? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it would be different if I had approached things differently or anything like that. Like I don't know.
Yeah, a regret's a tricky emotion because it's like you want to avoid regret, right? Because it's like in many ways it feels like like what can you do about it? You know what I mean? Like I feel like your brain internally tries to root around regret a little bit because it's like, you know, it's the past is the past. I can't change it, so like we might as well not stress over it. But I don't know. I do think that like, yeah, I mean, I think I'm happy with the things that I've done in my younger life and like how I've set myself up in some ways. I think like, I don't know. I maybe would have done a different major. I think that's like something I've thought about. If I could redo, I think I maybe would have done a different major.
I'm low-key sure everyone feels that way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fair. I just feel like now I'm like discovering things that I'm like more interested in. And like I would have maybe been better set up to do those things had I done a different major. And it's like, okay, like, wow, I guess that could have happened. But it's like I couldn't control that, you know what I mean? I don't know. So, but yeah, I don't know. I think I am pretty happy with my first era in most ways. And the things I've set myself up to do. Like hopefully, you know, I've set myself up somewhat, it seems maybe to be international. That was like a major goal coming towards the end of my time. And like it wasn't in the way that I foresaw, but like, I don't know. I think I'm kind of like I'm on the side of like experience maxing in many ways. I just want to look back at like very unique experiences and be like, wow. I mean, because experiences are like in so many, again, like I'm getting very cliche on this one, but experiences are just like priceless, right? It's like, I could have made more money, but I wouldn't have the same experiences. And like, I'll never forget those experiences ever. You know what I mean? Like that will stay with me forever. And I guess the argument that people make is like, you can make money and then use that money to have experiences. And it's like, it's true. But I just never think that like, it's the classic, like, I'm going to get rich and then do so many fun things after. And it's like, when you look at the people who live that life, it feels like the vast majority don't actually follow through. And so it seems like, from an outside lens, it seems like the way to actually like experience max is just to like at every point of your life try and make the most of your opportunities to have cool experiences. And I feel like I'm like proud of the way that I've executed that.
It's been pretty good. Mo.
Yeah. No, I think so. And like
I do, yeah. Yeah, my one of my main sort of things is I want to have more of like a thing that I maintain some ownership over. I mean, college is so I mean, like I'll keep doing music, which music will be very big for me. Um, but in terms of the work I'll be doing, like there's just no way I'm as passionate about it. Like I don't see it at all happening. Me being like really dialed in and locked in and really like driven to help this company make more money, because my salary won't change probably, or maybe it would. I don't know. At least that's how I feel about it right now, but maybe it'll be different.
Have you ever thought about like being like a researcher?
I have. It's just like I've done a good amount of academic research to be honest, and I don't know if I see that like I don't know if I see that as being sustainable for me. The lifestyle is definitely more attractive than the 9 to 5 and stuff like that.
What about like a professor?
It's those kinds of things that I don't know. I'm not convinced by it. And you have to do PhD. It's like 4 or 5 years. Which is not off the table. It's just definitely not in my mind right now. Like I'm so done with classes at the moment. I'm just like, God, I need to get out of here. So I'll revisit it down the line, but I didn't enjoy research enough to like really commit to it. And
yeah, that's fair.
I think most of like those sorts of like ownership and like having some sort of passion is really just gonna have to be a personal, like, within hobbies or personal projects, or I mean YouTube can keep doing as well.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I think recently for me, like my perspective has shifted a little bit on like the research. I think basically like the lab that I've been working in recently, my advisor is like a research engineer, they call him. So he's kind of just like his background's in like bioengineering, but he kind of does like computer science, bioengineering, mixture, mechanical engineering stuff. But he's kind of just like an engineer who works for the lab to like help build products. And I think his job is pretty cool. Because, like, I don't know, I was trying to like get some information, and like they seem to make decent money. Like, on par with like early salaries in the corporate world here. I mean, not like,
yeah,
like he's not making any like manager or like senior software engineer salaries, but like early software engineer salaries. But he does have like a lot of ownership, and he's working on something he really cares about, and like with a small group of cool people, which is like kind of cool. I don't know. I thought that because he doesn't do like research. Like he's not a researcher, I guess, but he's an engineer just for a lab. Which I don't know. I thought that was kind of a cool. I guess your background is less engineering, but that's like I thought that in my own life, like that seems like kind of a like he helps out with some professors that like being an assistant professor. But I think like I don't know. I'm not saying that that's what I want to do at all, but like it like opened my eyes to like at least like another branch that I didn't really realize was much of a thing. And I thought was kind of cool because I am like slightly disillusioned with like the corporate stuff is just a little tough because like we've been talking about, you have very little ownership. and your like life objective seems to be in the hands of like other people and like making a company money, which is like somewhat can be tough maybe. I mean, especially in the software engineering world, it's like, you know, if you're a software engineer at Google, the scope of your work is so little. I mean, that's why like no one, honestly, I know very few people going into big tech. These from Stanford.
Really? Yeah.
I don't know if I know anybody in my CS class going into big tech. All startups.
It's all startups.
All startups. Because people just like want ownership. People like want to care about what they're doing and like have like a greater portion of the stack that they're working on. You know, when you get hired as an engineer at Google, it's like you're literally just working in such a tiny, tiny little scoped area for years. And that's just like your role. And like no one will ever see like your contribution. Like they'll see the contribution of you and 1,000 other people's products. But like it's not you, which I think is a little hard for people to swallow in the long term. And again, it's like a product of saturation a little bit. Because like in the early tech era, you know, when you became a senior engineer, you did get more of the stack and like you were more important and like whatever. But like these days, I think that you often have less of that, which I think is becoming less appealing to people. And in my own life, I don't know. I think caring about what you do is pretty important, for sure.
It's pretty important, yeah. And I think that like since I haven't been able to really like identify that specific thing, I mean that's always been sort of like my goal is to find the thing that I'm gonna want to put my time and effort into. And you know, since I wasn't really able to find that over the past however many years, I kind of just have to move the attention elsewhere and make decisions based on other things. And so the main thing for me right now is just I want to be I mean, I think I was telling you, I want to be able to live kind of wherever I want, or at least be flexible in that.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to, for example, I'd say one of the biggest ones is, you know, I mean, you can kind of work anywhere if you're in government, but most things are in DC. And so I really don't want to be constrained in that way to where, also, I don't want to live in DC.
Right.
So it's like a double whammy on that one. But yeah, I don't want to be held down by location, and so I want to do something that is gonna be nationwide, worldwide. If I really lock in on trying to go somewhere, trying to work somewhere like that, it will happen. I don't know, like that's attractive to me. I don't want to be.
That's hugely attractive to me. I mean, I think that was like genuinely the only reason I didn't do medical. Like I literally would have been a doctor, I think, had it not been for my desire for flexibility in the place that I work. Yeah, like that was like probably it. Yeah, I don't know. The classes I think were good for CS here too, but like for me, I just like really decided that I wanted freedom in that capacity to go study at other places, work other places, around the country, around the world. That's just something I'm super interested in. And so that was like so foundational in my decision, even in what I majored in. And so, yeah, like I agree. That's huge.
Ideally, eventually figure out something I'm passionate about, or just end up becoming passionate about it. I think is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think like
it would just be tragic to go 40 years and just be like, yeah, I don't like this.
Yeah, 100%. I think in my case, like honestly, quite recently, I've like become more interested. I think I had to like I don't know, the lab I've been working in recently I think is really cool, and like the whole field that it's kind of adjacent to I think is pretty cool. And that's what I was saying, like I kind of wish that I had like probably just been directly in that field. Like right, I think like right now like I'm in a slightly
but that's
like
good that you feel that.
Yeah, I think no, I'm glad that I like feel that, because I do think like it's not like the door is not like closed. Like in some ways it is a cool thing. Like the reason that I got a position at my lab probably in the first place is that like maybe if I was a bioengineering student, maybe I wouldn't have even gotten a position at the lab. Like maybe I would have, honestly, like they're very chill. But like I think what was desirable to them about me was like, okay, you know, we have a bunch of bioengineering people, but we don't have that many computer science people to help us with our computer science things. So then it's like, now I'm a part of the lab. My foot is in the door at this lab that I really like. And I'm doing computer science work. And like in some ways, even though that's my background, I'm like somewhat more interested in doing some of the bioengineering stuff. But like, that's fine. Like, I think like I'm at least glad that like I'm like in the system and like have connections in this world now and like think it's cool. And then it's like, maybe I can just like work my, you know, I can work my background to my advantage to try and like develop in this field. And like, there are like jobs in this field, and like they're fewer and farther between than just like general software engineer. But like, maybe that's good. And like, I'm just like glad that I have something that I think is cooler. Cause like, yeah, I don't know. Cause I like genuinely like 6 months ago, I didn't feel that way.
Right. Yeah.
So like, I think that for me, that has come like pretty quickly. And I think like I'm a little biased right now because the work that I'm doing is like 10 hours a week, which is like, I think like a really nice, like sweet spot of the amount of work that you're doing. Like,
Sure.
Cause it's like, you know, among all the other things, I just tack on 10 hours of working for this lab, and it's like, it's not overwhelming. I'm not sitting at a desk 8 hours in a row staring at my lab work. I'm just doing it for 2 hours at a time, 5 days a week.
Right.
And it's like, that's so manageable to still like be doing it and liking it and interested. So I don't know, but the point being, I think that it can come pretty quickly. Like, and like, I think, I don't know, like I like want to like, now that I have like even a semblance of that, I'm like quite committed to like doing other things in this direction because it feels like
it feels right.
Yeah, it feels right. And it feels like 6 months ago I didn't have that. Like, I didn't have that, and so it was like, yeah, I don't know. And you know what's pretty fascinating is like, I think that the thing that was honestly my determining factor in like having this interest in some ways was when I was applying to grad school, and basically the application was just very open-ended because it was like I had freedom to apply to like several of these like mixed departments, and it was like, and then the in grad school you can do very open-ended research in the across these departments, and so then I had like the freedom like, okay, from like it's like it was very nice to have like a fresh start, I think. Because like at Stanford, I feel like, you know, your major is chosen, you kind of have the classes chosen out in advance, like whatever. But to have a fresh start gave me the opportunity to then be like, okay, like, given I have nothing to like hang on to, like, what do I just like actually like, if I get this, which is maybe low probability, I don't know, what would I want to do? And like, even at Stanford, that wasn't like a thing. Like, I didn't apply to Stanford with a major. I was completely undecided. So I walked in and just kind of like found things on my way, which like in some ways was like, I don't know, in some ways I feel like maybe I got like a little carried away just like with like, oh, I really like that one class, and then like took more of that thing, and then I don't know. But to me, I think that applying to grad school is like an interesting opportunity to like reflect and be like, okay, what would I actually want to do? What is the most interesting thing that I could be working on for me, given my background? And I basically just said that, and that's the department that I applied to. And then I was like, okay, now that that's like on the horizon, maybe what could I do in the meantime that's applicable to that? And then that's how I found this lab. And then it was kind of like, you know, I don't know. It was like a weird impetus, I guess, for having a new interest. It was just like I was given an opportunity to like rethink like, well, what would I want to do in a perfect world? And then like, because of that, I don't know. Like, I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense, but it just felt like very random in some ways. Right. Because I could have made this decision, you know what I mean? Like, without grad school, I still could have made the decision to work for this lab. But like, I just wouldn't have like, the thought wouldn't have occurred to me, even though it is something that I like care about. But it was like, I needed something to like ask me the question, like in a serious fashion, where I had to like respond to a bunch of essay prompts and talk to people and like do this research and like all these things, and like commit to it for 2 years. Like, I needed that impetus of like someone asking me like, really, like what would you want to do, to then make that decision. And then like once I made the decision, then it was much easier to try and find things here that I could have found long ago. I just never had the impetus, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I don't know how
that's
that's like applicable as like a lesson. I don't know. Like I guess like the lesson would be like try and like really consider what you care about. Like maybe even if you don't have some impetus, like maybe it's possible to just like to really think. I don't know, but it's harder.
Generally, I think most people have a kind of a direction that their life's going in, and like coasting on that and just doing the thing that that you're able to do or you're probably gonna do is like very easy. Like not easy, but it makes a lot of sense.
Right.
And it seems more work and seems maybe not worth it to consider other options. And also maybe it's like, oh, I was already gonna go do this thing though, so why would I change to this thing? A lot of the time, if you're really put in the situation, I mean, this is how I also felt when I applied to college in the first place. Is just like when you're put in the situation and in the like put on the spot kinda of, hey, so like what do you really want to do? Like why do you even want to come here? Like successful people in terms of applications, in terms of, getting like those positions is always like, like either you're locked in, dialed, and you know exactly what you want to do, or you kind of figure it out and like you're like, oh my god, like this would be heat. And
Right.
like everything I've done in my life like kind of also says I could do this easily, and I would actually much rather do this rather than what I was initially planning to do.
Right.
So
I
I
think
don't know. I mean, like, yeah.
Yeah, in my case I needed like a large activation energy in that question, and also like in like basically I think I found myself like thinking about, okay, what is going to happen next year? And I was like, wow, okay, a lot of these positions that I'm looking at, I just feel so little attachment to. And so I was like,
Right.
wow, like can I see myself doing this? And like maybe it's naive because, it's only the first job, so it's like, you could just do it and get experience and not like it that much, but then move on to another one and figure it out. So like it's naive. It is a naive opinion, I think, to be like, oh, like if I go into this now, I'm going to be stuck doing that for 40 years. Like that's not the case, really. Like, you have so many more transition points, definitely. But I did feel this like immense pressure to like think about that. And then I was like, wow, I just don't know if being like, in my case, like a pure software engineer just working for like whatever, any company that would take me is like all that interesting to me. And I was like, wow, okay, like, and so like pivoting to a new field of like kind of bioengineering type stuff is like higher activation energy than just like studying more for my interviews to be a software engineer. But it's like, I don't know, I just had to really consider like what I would be interested in doing. And I'm like, I think I'm glad that I did, because I don't know, I found myself, maybe it's just like the novelty of it being new. Like hopefully not.
Right.
But like maybe it's just the novelty of it being new, and new things are cool and new things are interesting. And to me, this new field is new. Whereas, computer science is 4 years old. Computer science 4 years ago was certainly more exciting than I find it right now. So like, maybe that has something to say for it. I don't know. Who knows? But like for the time being, I think I'm just going to follow that because I find myself interested in it.
College is not very rigid in a lot of ways, but it's also rigid in some other ways, especially when you lock in your major. But there's a thing of like, you're not expected to, I mean, some people do it, but you're not necessarily expected to leave your college or, every year change your major, for example. And not that like switching roles at a company or changing jobs is like the same thing, but it's actually expected that you do that. So, I mean, like you said, I also kind of approach the corporate world and jobs in general as this like, oh my god, like 40 year slog, I'm locked in, I can't do anything, I'm trapped. But it's not necessarily like that. It just feels like that, and has felt like that for a long time, which is why it's so, I guess, intimidating.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
I think we do recommend finish college.
Oh, for sure,
You know,
for sure.
it's
For
doable.
sure.
Like, don't, you know.
Yeah. I think college is still like good. Like as we discussed, or as we started with, like the social aspect is like a unique time in your life, and that's like I think really important. And I mean, from a career perspective, it's just like I think that there's also some like it's certainly easier to pivot jobs with a college degree than it is without a college degree.
True.
Like, yeah, I think it's expensive in a lot of cases, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I am pro college for sure, definitely.
Yeah. And we're basically done.
But yeah, basically
Yeah.
done. So,
Basically
which is a
done.
crazy thing.
Maybe we'll revisit the topic once we're actually like fully
Yeah, like in
out
a
of
couple
here, I
months or
guess.
something, and
Or something like that.
things are starting up.
But things will be starting up for sure. But yeah, for now, thanks you all for listening. I actually don't know how long this one it was. I think relatively similar to the others, but
Yeah, an hour.
Hour-ish, okay. Dude, we're locked in on the hour. That's crazy.
Yeah, we are pretty good. It really has been like, I mean, within 10 minutes of the hour for the last like
for so